All right, let's talk about how AI is about to completely overhaul something we all do, the grocery store checkout. Seriously, forget fumbling for barcodes. We're talking about AI that can just look at what you're buying and know what it is.
I mean, we've all been there, right? You're trying to scan a bag of lettuce or something, turning it over and over, trying to find that one tiny barcode, while the machine just beeps at you like you're doing something wrong. It's a surprisingly frustrating part of a simple errand.
So let's just put this side by side. You've got the old way, manual scanning, on the left. It's slow, a wrinkled barcode can throw the whole thing off, and it completely relies on that little physical tag. But on the right, you have AI vision. It's instant, it's way more accurate, and it's totally contactless. We're basically moving from a system of searching for a code to a system of just seeing.
Okay, so how on earth do you teach a camera to recognize a carton of milk the same way you and I do? It's not magic, not at all. It's a very specific kind of AI that's built for exactly this job.
And the hero of this story is something called a convolutional neural network, or a CNN for short. Now, don't let that complicated name throw you off. All you need to know is that it's a type of AI that's kind of inspired by how our own brains process vision. Its entire purpose in life is to look at pictures and find patterns. So how does a CNN actually go from just a picture of an item, let's say it's a t-shirt, to actually knowing it's a t-shirt? Well, we're going to peek under the hood and follow that entire journey step by step to see how this AI actually thinks. And here's the basic roadmap of that journey. It starts with the image, then it does some clever stuff called convolution and pooling. It builds up an idea of what it's seeing, makes a decision, and then gives us the final answer. Let's start at the beginning. Now, this is one of the coolest parts. When you and I see a shoe, we see, well, a shoe, but the AI doesn't. It sees a giant grid of numbers. Every single number in that grid just represents the color and brightness of one tiny pixel. So the whole photo gets translated into this language of math.
Okay, so the AI has this massive grid of numbers. That's great, but it's not very useful on its own, right? The next, and maybe most important part of the whole process, is finding the actual clues, the meaningful patterns that are hidden inside all of those numbers.
And to find those clues, the CNN uses a tool called a filter. Honestly, the best way to think of it is like a digital magnifying glass. The AI slides this little magnifying glass over every part of the image, and each one is designed to look for just one super basic thing, like a straight edge, or a curve, or a specific texture. So, at this very first stage, the AI isn't seeing a shoe or a shirt. It's just a detective looking for the most basic evidence. After it runs its filters, all it's really seeing are the raw building blocks of the image. All the little outlines, the borders, and the fundamental shapes. But now, this is where it gets really smart. The next layers in the network take all those simple lines and curves and start piecing them together, almost like building with Legos. The AI starts to think, this combination of a long flat line and this specific curve, that looks a lot like what I've learned as a shoe sole. Or these two angled lines that meet like this, that's probably a shirt collar. It's literally building up complexity from really simple parts. But all this detail can get a little overwhelming, even for an AI. So the next step, which is called pooling, is all about simplifying things. It's kind of like the AI takes a step back and just squints at the image. It zooms out to get rid of the distracting details and focuses only on the most important, most dominant patterns it's found so far. All right, so let's recap. We've gone from pixels to simple lines. Then we combine those into complex patterns like soles and collars. Now, in the final stages, the AI takes all of that evidence it's gathered and weighs it all together. It basically asks itself, okay, given all the patterns I've found, what's the most probable object I'm looking at? And boom, here's the final result. The AI doesn't just spit out a yes or no answer. It gives you a probability, a confidence score. So in this case, it says, I'm 93% sure this is a shoe, and there's maybe a 7% chance it's a shirt. Based on that super high score, the system makes its call. It's a shoe. So that's the incredibly cool process that happens in just a fraction of a second inside the machine. But let's zoom back out to the big picture. Why does all this complex tech actually matter for your next trip to the store? Well, this isn't just a cool idea for the future, it's already happening. Some of the biggest names out there are already rolling this out. Amazon Go stores are the most famous example, where you can literally just walk out. But you're also seeing it from giants like Alibaba, and more in everyday supermarkets and even clothing stores. And the benefits here are huge.
it's a total win-win. For us, the customers, it means a checkout experience that is way, way faster. No more lines. But for the stores, it's a total game changer. They get fewer errors, they can track their inventory way more efficiently, and they can even get better data on what's popular.
And that really brings us to the big final thought here. We started with a pretty simple problem, right? Making grocery checkout less annoying. But the technology that solves it is just incredibly powerful. So we'll leave you with this question to think about. If an AI can learn to instantly recognize your shirt, what else is it going to learn to see?